What's going on, people? Instant max reaction. Atletico Madrid 5, Tottenham Hotspur 2. 2. Yeah. Iggy, your thoughts?
Well, it's. Do you know what? I was saying before, it's very difficult to analyse a game where we was completely out of it after 10, 15 minutes. 3 of the most ridiculous goals I've ever seen in Champions League. I mean, to concede 1, awful one, but to concede 3 in the same match at Champions League level completely killed it for us. And it was really difficult because we didn't even allow it to play out, to see if there was how the game would go, you know, how the game would settle, how it would hold out for the first 15, 20 minutes. When you get mistakes like that, they just completely and utterly, you know, kill you over. I expressed my concerns in the team lineup straight away. I did think it was a big call for Tudor over the goalkeeper situation, and taking him off after 15 minutes tells you that he got it completely and utterly wrong. I thought the midfield was a bit of a never seen midfield before, you know, with Gray and Sarr. I don't remember us playing as a 2 midfield with those 2 ever. And then you had the forward line without Solanke in it. You know, it's very, very difficult when the spine of our team, apart from the defenders, was completely new for a game of this magnitude. Tactically, we was exploited massively on both wings. They were very strong in the wings, and we just kept leaving them a lot of space in and behind. So there was a lot of things that went wrong. I mean, obviously, we didn't get to have allowed the game to play out a little bit to see where it could be won and lost for us and for them, because before you knew it was 3-0 down, and you know, that's a mountain to climb at this level.
Yeah, look, for me, yeah, I mean, we saw what happened. I mean, Tudor made the decision to put Kinsky in goal. You said it earlier, he should have stuck by it. He's made that decision. Vicario, obviously, I mean, I've never seen a goalkeeper substituted within 15 minutes, ever. And, you know, it didn't even, just seeing it now, just watching it back, he didn't even acknowledge him. He didn't say anything. He didn't put his arm around him. He didn't say, you know, he didn't say anything, not just to Kinsky, but to any of the players that came off. And obviously there'll be a talking point about Jed Spence, making a point of going up to Tudor, tapping him on the shoulder and saying, hey, come on, mate, you should be acknowledging us for coming off this pitch. There's clearly a massive disconnect between the players and this manager. You know, the players from this game, I mean, we had 11 shots. We created chances. We a lot of chances. You know, arguably, and you may say it's delusional, arguably we're still in this tie. I don't know how, because it could have been a cricket score. But just, you know, the players were slipping, poor decision making. You know, and the first half, I mean, the first 22 minutes to be 4-0 down, it's just unbelievable for me. Then we get the goal, and we're thinking, oh, what can happen? And then we saw what happened. They came out second half. Richarlison has a chance that he should have buried, and they go up the other end and score and make it 5-1. You can't write it.
Like I said, to me, it didn't feel like a Champions League level match. It felt like a schoolboy / Sunday League match. It felt like that. It had elements of it, mistakes, and just complete and utter naivety. How do you concede through a corner from your corner or your attacking set piece? How do you then go out the other end and concede? It's not even the last minute of the game. It's not like, you know, we had to get that goal to stay in the tie. It wasn't anything that we had to throw the kitchen sink at them, and we go and get caught on a counter essentially. Do you know what? Everything that could have gone wrong in this match actually did go wrong. And like I said, you cannot. This is the creme de la creme of football. You know, this is club football. This is like the highest level. You cannot make mistakes like that. You cannot make errors like that, and certainly you can't do it consecutively 3 times. And the pitch and the football boots. I don't know what was going on tonight with everyone sliding all over the place. The commentator earlier on said there was like 10 or 11 slips from our players. It's just ridiculous. The whole thing was just an absolute shambles from the starting lineup, from the call that he made. Hey, listen, he makes that call. Kinsky has a worldie, and all of a sudden he's like, what a great call that was.
Yeah.
It wasn't to be. It's not. It wasn't the time for Kinsky to come in. I've said it. These games, people say, well, why in the Premier League? Premier League, you need to win as well. I'm just saying, playing against Fulham or playing against Palace, there is pressure in the game. Of course there is, because we need points. But the level of the match is not as big as the one you're going. And away to Atletico Madrid, that's the time you're going to throw a keeper that hasn't seen the pitch for how long? When was the last time he played? It was a big call, and
I don't know.
The reason this whole this whole thing about tapping on the shoulder and shaking his hands and stuff. We're making a mountain of him. At the end of the day,
of course,
when a sub comes off, he comes off. He goes sit down, shut up, and just get on with it. At the end of the day, if you're not happy about something, have it out with the manager in the change rooms. There's no need to try and. Because all you're doing is giving those people that are watching, the commentators or the journalists at the side, something that's extra to talk about. Bottom line is, he made the call, he made the substitution. Players come on, players come off all the time. It's just at the moment, Spurs are getting scrutinised over absolutely, rightly so by the way, getting scrutinised over every little thing, and this is one of those things.
Yeah, look, if you look at the stats, 11 shots each. There wasn't really much difference. I mean, I think, you look at their 4th goal, it wasn't a foul, it wasn't a free kick. Absolutely bought the free kick. But unfortunately, and what, we go back to it, Romero and Paulinho both came off. I mean, Romero should have been taken off. I mean, he absolutely clattered Paulinho. Paulinho wanted to stay on. Romero stayed on, and then went down, and then obviously the ref just blew the game and said enough's enough.
Yeah.
But that now means potentially that we will lose them both for Liverpool, because it should be a minimum 7 days rest for concussion. So we've got no Romero, no Van der Ven, no Paulinho. So what, we're playing Dragusin, Danso.
Dragusin, Danso there, probably go to a back 4, or maybe Archie Gray goes back there.
Archie Gray goes back there. So we're in a real mess, right? Yeah. And it's not, some of it's our own doing. The players, again, I don't think showed enough. It seemed disjointed. Tell again, people will say, well, he was running and he tried. Well, yeah, okay, but that doesn't mean that, he's any good. And I think, again, Porro, time and time again on both flanks, Porro was getting the ball. They were just pinging the balls over the top from both the left wing and the right wing, and we were just beaten, and then we were slipping. That midfield had no bite in it. I don't understand why Paulinho didn't start.
Gallagher didn't start.
And then he came on and played him. I don't know where he played him, because he didn't play him where he should have played him. So
it's just all calls from the manager. This is what I'm saying. I'm not saying that the manager is a sole responsible for the whole shit show that we're having at Spurs at the moment. I'm not suggesting that for a minute. But like I said, we've got a million problems, and now we just added another one with this guy, because he is not making the right calls. He's forever changing teams and lineups, personnel. He's sticking with his 3-4-3. Colin Wane, Richarlison, and Tell as his front 3. That already tells you there's hardly any bite there. You're not really getting much joy, really and truly. And like you said, the 2 in midfield, never seen before. And our fullbacks are playing really, really high. So that gave Lookman, and who's the other player? Is it Giuliano? No, the other player,
Simeone's son.
Yeah, on the wide areas, absolutely killing us. They killed us the whole 45 minutes there, and then we didn't alter it till later on in the game. It's just a shame, because I truly don't believe Atletico were all that tonight. No. They're a good side. I'm not saying that they're not a good side. I just didn't see. I didn't see a team. Well, we gifted. I don't know. When you gift goals, then the teams, their tails are up and they accompany you all the time. What do I say about set pieces and dead ball situations? They score from it, you know.
And it's a reaction, like you said. The ball.
The keeper makes the save, it goes up. 4 defenders around, 1 forward, and he gets the header.
Yeah,
you're like, mate, come on, man. That's why I lost my rag with that. And yeah, like I said, when you lose gifting 3 of those goals, you know, without those 3, is it 2-2? I don't know. I just think when you gift goals at this level, you pay the ultimate price, and this, I mean, with those 2 goals, it gives us a lifeline. That's all we've got. We've got a lifeline going back to Tottenham with that scoreline. But in a grand scheme of things, if I have to be completely honest with you guys watching and you, Nick, I think the tie's done.
Yeah.
But not because the scoreline suggests the tie's done. I just look at how we are.
Yeah, 15 games we've played in 2026 and we've won 2.
We've won 2.
And they've both been in Europe.
Have we even scored 3 in those 3 goals? Do you see what I mean? There's so many factors that we haven't done. I don't believe this result can be turned around. Of course, if you have a game of your life, you can go and win 3-0. Perhaps may take it into extra time. I just don't see us in the situation that we currently are to do that, you know?
Yeah, look, and also, it's the first time Tottenham have lost 6 consecutive matches in all competitions for the first time in our history. You know, all the stats are going, all the stats are proving. There's no team. Chris Waddle says there's no team spirit. Steve McManaman saying the players look lost. Paul Robinson saying that Tudor's not the right fit and it's a selfish move to take Kinsky off. Look, I just don't know, you know. But one thing that this performance has done, and it's going to shine away from, I think we have to talk about Antoine Griezmann. Tonight, 34 years of age, he was, for me, just phenomenal tonight.
Just class, man. Just class. Needed positions to get into. His touches of the ball, his IQ, his footballing IQ is next level. And he absolutely rose in this game, you know. He made everything tick. And that assist that he gave for that 5th goal was insane. But you know what? He's class. He's an international player playing at the highest level of club football. You know, he's potentially going to be involved in the World Cup as well. And if this is the form that he's taken into going to the World Cup, France have got a hell of a player in that squad, you know. So nothing to say, man. Man of the match, stepped up and bossed it. It's as simple as that. Run the show, man. Run the show. But I know only a technical player who was Xavi Simons was left on the bench for 82, 83 minutes. I don't know what to say, guys. I don't know what more I can say at this point.
Look, it's gonna be interesting. But look, whatever happens, we need to stick together. We saw nothing again tonight. We asked for a reaction. We need to fight. You know, Liverpool next, then the return leg, then the massive 6-pointer, which is going to be Nottingham Forest. I mean, you know, potentially we could be in the relegation zone by the time we face Nottingham Forest.
Has Harry Redknapp been given a call yet?
I don't know, but I don't see.
Tudor in or out for you?
I don't see how he survives tonight. These players are not good enough. We know that. We've said it. We've seen it time and time again. Look, you've got rid of the last 3 years. We've got rid of the leading scorers through Kane, through Son. You know, and I don't think he was that good, but he played into the system and scored goals, and that was Brennan Johnson. You can't, you know, you've also lost Maddison. We've also lost Kulusevski. Something like someone said, and you know, 84 goal contributions between the players that we've lost. Although just those, you know, for Maddison and Kulusevski as well as Son. You know, you don't replace that, and we haven't replaced that with a Richarlison, with a, you know, a Solanke, a Tell, a Mawani, you know, Simmons, Odebert. You know, we don't have anyone creating. That's the bottom line. The squad is not good enough, and this is down to the ownership. This is down to the, we all thought everyone. How funny was it? We sat there at the start of the season or whenever it happened. Levy's gone, and everyone thought, oh, this is going to be all right. They came out. The Lewis family came out saying we're going to do this and we're going to do that and we're going to do everything else, and they've done nothing. We've actually, Daniel Levy's sitting at home tonight, rubbing his hands together and laughing, going, told you. Because at least if Daniel Levy still was here, Frank wouldn't have stayed as long as he did. And we potentially wouldn't be anywhere near where we are. But this was coming. You said it earlier. This was coming last season. We should have seen this last season when we finished. We were miles away. There was 3 teams worse off than us. We're the worst team in the Premier League. And I don't see it. The only thing that I can see at the moment is us getting relegated. And how can you even fathom that? And I know people will sit there and talk about Leicester winning the league was more. It was more to happen. But I think Tottenham getting relegated from the Premier League is the biggest thing that will ever happen in this league.
Like I said, man, for me, the biggest thing that I still yet to see is the team that fights, a work ethic, a team that plays for each other, and a team that are going to fight tooth and nail to not get relegated. I'm not seeing any of that. I'm seeing it from West Ham. They've picked up results, and yesterday's cup win on penalties would have re-galvanised them even more. I'm seeing fight from Nottingham Forest. They brought in a manager who's given them a new lease of life. And, all these teams are out, even Wolves, beating Liverpool over the weekend before the league game, that is. And they're starting to, all of a sudden everyone's like the Great Escape, They're thinking, look at Wolves.
I said this the other day. If Wolves had 4 more games, I genuinely think they'd finish above us.
So, but they, even with them being doomed to the Championship, they're still fighting.
Yeah.
The only team out of them I'm not seeing anything from is us.
Yeah.
Where I haven't seen it at all under Frank. I'm not seeing it now under Tudor. And I think that's the biggest thing, to get a manager in to say, guys, we need to get back together. Sort of simplify tactics. We're inventing all these a manager's come in now and he wants to implement his own tactics to the team instead of saying, do you know what? Let's just strip it down to basics. I don't know, 4-4-2, whatever it is.
Surely,
and say, let's get these points. And then as you start getting them on side a little bit and everyone starts picking up a couple of results, all of a sudden maybe you can start implementing some of these changes, but not do the things like he did tonight.
No. And surely he should have seen this. 3-4-3 didn't work with Amarin, right? So we could have seen this, we could have seen this coming. But look.
In Europe, the back three, in Europe, in the Champions League level, not the best teams, a lot of them do not play with a 3 at the back. They don't. They play with a 4. Yeah, I don't remember the last time I saw someone in the Champions League going far with a back 3. I don't remember. If anyone can remember it, please let me know. But I don't remember the last how many teams in the Champions League play with a back 3 and have gone to really good levels of going far in this competition. Not that I'm saying Tottenham can go far. I just don't know about anyone else that plays a back 3 at this level.
Yeah. Anyway, it's a chance for you to have your say. Tudor speaking. We'll bring you what he says.
Interesting to hear what he says.
As he says it. I'm interested to hear what people have to say because I genuinely don't have a clue what they are going to say. So look, let's get them on. Let's see what you have to say. Because it's a chance for you to have a say. Smash that like button, people. 1,300 of you in here. And let's get on the first caller. Daniel.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Good evening.
Good evening.
How you feeling?
How am I feeling? How are you feeling?
I've been better, Daniel, mate.
I feel like every result of every game at the moment. So, how about you?
I mean, I'm just trying to enjoy the evening as best as I can.
Yeah.
It sucks because my father-in-law, he's a gooner. My missus is a gooner. And we've been through some really bad lows. You remember the times where you used to get spanked 6-0 by Man City, Liverpool in that same season. We've had some pretty bad lows, but this is really low. And it doesn't fill me with confidence. I've supported Spurs for decades. We all have. We've all been there. And now we're beginning to realise that it just can't go on anymore. We can't sustain ourselves anymore, right? Maybe this whole push to build out this new big shiny stadium, to build out this amazing training facility, has all turned out to be a whoosh, just nothing. Because it hasn't brought anything for us, really. It hasn't done anything for us in a sense where it's actually pushed us more, it's actually regressed us. You remember in our final season at White Hart Lane, we went unbeaten.
Yeah.
Unbeaten. A defence, a fortress. No one could beat us there. Right now, if you go to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, you could get turned out any day of the week. Like going down to the laundrette. And I'm really worried with the direction of the club. I don't think we've even had a direction for the last couple of years. I feel like maybe Levy was kind of like the puppeteer. He was always the puppet, really. You know, all he just had to do was just be the face, take on the criticism, be the man to steer the ship. And he actually done remarkably well with that. In terms of the acumen and his business acumen as a business person, absolutely fantastic. He's done that for the last 2 decades or plus more, right? Yeah. But we can clearly see right now, since he's been booted out, the fan club, the Lewis family, now it's been passed on to his kids and his grandkids. I don't really think they have an idea. They appointed a couple of people, which Levy did, I think. I don't know whether it was Levy who appointed Vinay and Johan, if it was down to him. But my gut feeling with this is they got them in to replace Levy, essentially, and what he was doing on a day-to-day basis. And the chickens have now come home to roost. And this is why we are where we are today.
Yeah, look, yeah, I mean, it's hard to. I think you're right. We're a mess from top to bottom. Something you said. I think the other fans, as much as they're laughing at us, I don't think there's anything else they're really going to say, because some of them are actually starting to feel sorry for us, because they're actually like, at the start it was funny, but now it's just like bad, right? And I mean, they're just showing the next 8 fixtures, and I think there's 3 we have to focus on. It's Forest, Wolves, and Leeds. The rest of them we might as well forget about, and we have to get maximum points from those to have any chance of staying up. But tonight's game, I mean, what was it? Was it the players? Was it the manager? Where was the issue for you tonight, Daniel?
It's gone so wrong. I've got all these facts here. Right? I've got all these facts here, and I'll put it straight up. So, for one, I don't think the one thing we've got to make very clear is Igor Tudor was a very, very, very bad opponent. It's probably worse than Frank. Let's be honest. He is statistically worse than Frank. As in all the games he's been managing so far, he's lost every single one of them.
Yeah.
So what gives you hope that he's actually going to turn around and do something against Liverpool? Even though Liverpool lost tonight as well, they will spank us when they come to see us next time. They are going to spank us, right? So Atletico Madrid had 61% possession compared to us with 39%. I watched the game, and I'm not going to lie to you, it didn't look like we even had any idea what we even do with the ball.
Yeah.
We had Archie Gray and Pat Matasar in the middle of the midfield. It looked weak anyway, right? And bringing on Conor Gallagher, who still didn't really do much of an impact, didn't really do much either, says to me, Igor Tudor sets his team up thinking we're just going to be on the front foot, we're going to attack, we're going to really be direct. We don't have players who can play direct football like that, though. We don't. Because the only threatening times, or the only times he looked threatening, was when Danso had the ball off the pitch and he threw it in. Right? There was a point where he even brought Pellegrini in. For what? What for? Is it just to shore up the defence? Because it's already open. He already plays open football. So that didn't make sense to me, unless it was because he was hoping that Pellegrini will get to an end of a header. That's what he's looking for. And it's the same thing that we saw under Frank. So why did you bring in Tudor? What does Tudor bring? He doesn't bring anything other than the same football we were seeing under Frank. So that is something that I want to make pretty clear. Secondly, Atletico put 7 shots on target to us, already putting 4. Now, I think the stats alone with that one, the game showed a very different story. The game showed us that we were completely dominated. And for the most part, actually, in the first half, we made most mistakes. And that's what made Atletico Madrid look good, right? This is probably the most average Atletico Madrid team we've seen in a long time. You know, I think Simeone's leaving at the end of the season. Correct me if I'm wrong. So, of course, you know, they're just obviously going to try and make sure they play somewhat decent. They set up as a 4-4-2. You know, it's a pretty resolute team, but they're not that scary. They really are not that scary. But we made them look really, really good. You know, the turnovers, the misplaced passes, the nervousness. You could tell we were really nervous. We weren't there. We were not there. And most critical of it all, we lacked discipline. Where's the discipline? We have senior players there who looked like they were playing an under-21s game. Why am I seeing Van der Ven go in for a lunge, for a tackle that he completely mistimed? That could have got him sent off again.
Yep.
I agree. I think it was a red card.
Why?
I
For the
thought it was a
same
red
guy,
card.
that says that he will play for any manager, will play well for any manager. In fact, he was even giving Ange his plaudits. You know, saying, "Oh, we'll come to him. We'll tell him what we think."
Daniel,
Why didn't he do that today?
I said it in the stream earlier on. I said it during the match. I think he's checked out. I think it's been a few weeks that he's checked out, not just tonight. His attitude, his overall more mental attitude, more than a physical attitude. I think it's more mental attitude. I feel like he's checked out, and I think he's making rash decision making that you wouldn't normally see him do. Normally, he's so quick that he beats the player to getting the ball and takes it away from him clean. Now he's lunging at players. So I don't know. I don't know where this decision.
Because he wants to get sent off. He doesn't want to be there.
That's what I'm saying. He's checked out.
He's checked out.
I agree with that. But what concerns me, and I said this earlier to Nick, is the team. You know, like you said, the first 20 minutes, if you can keep it nice and tight, because what I didn't see is two teams play long enough to see what levels they're both at in terms of this match. Not forget levels outside of it. Obviously, we know we've been rubbish all season, but we didn't see the confrontation between two sides because before we even got going, we were 3-0 down, 4-0 down, and we're making silly errors, and that got their tail up. And all of a sudden, every time we kept passing to a goalkeeper, the fans were going, ooh, you know. So all of a sudden, you've created that all yourself. They haven't done anything to create that situation. They were having joys in the wide areas because we were playing with three at the back, dragging our three centre backs out there because our fullbacks are too high, because that's where he wanted the manager. That's the manager's call. The same way the manager made a call about the goalkeeper and the two midfielders that you mentioned, a bit lightweight. Not leaving Solanke out. You know, all these things, he's made those choices. Now, Nick saying maybe he had an eye out, you know, for the Liverpool game because he realised the important. But you got to think above all else, you've got to create some sort of momentum and a match, and you know, play well. Try and put a performance in. To then that can make you go to Liverpool thinking, you know what, we've just done a good performance at Madrid. We can now go to Anfield and with a bit of confidence to put a performance in.
That's what it should be. That's what it should be. But
after tonight, I don't know, man. I'm more worried.
It's not there. It's not there. And I think, you know what really set the tone for tonight was the fact that it was highly anticipated that we were going to replace Vicario for Kinsky. Right? That was the talk of the town. That was what everyone was actually having in their mouths, right?
Unreal.
And when he did that, that's when it set the tone that we were going to get completely cooked tonight. Because he was hoping that if we failed tonight, Kinsky would be the one to be the scapegoat. It would be Kinsky. Right? It's so obvious. He's the inexperienced one. He's the one that's coming into a big game. We've lost all of our other games. He's coming in to replace our underperforming goalkeeper. And what happens? He has a complete disaster class within 15 minutes and he gets hooked. I've never in my life have ever seen, you guys haven't even seen it yourselves, we've never seen a goalkeeper get subbed after 15 minutes, have we? Right? No. We can all remember Karius, you know, for Liverpool against Real Madrid in Champions League final, about almost 9 years ago. But if we're going to be completely real, you put him there. So you should own it. You should take accountability. And I find it extremely arrogant that he doesn't even go and console him, telling him, you know what, I messed up. I will take that call. That's my fault.
I'll be interested to see what he says in the post-match when we get to find out what we know that he's had a post-match conversation, so be interested to see what he says on it. But yeah, listen, mate, I completely and utterly agree with what you said tonight. I'd be interested to see what steps Spurs make. Do we keep this guy now, or do we? I'll say at half time. You know, I'll get Redknapp in, make the call already. After, because I don't know. The thing is, he's not touching the core of the player, you know, to try and get that stuff that we need during the game. We're not seeing that. I'm not seeing a player that's given, maybe Archie Gray, I want to say, maybe a couple of games. I want to say that I look at, not that he's playing amazing, I'm not saying that. I'm saying I look at him as a player that's given everything. I can honestly say, I look at Gray, I'm thinking the guy's giving everything. He is giving everything. Whether it's good enough or not is another conversation. But I can look at him in his eyes and say he is giving us everything. But that's too little. That's too little to accept this level of performances at this. But then what do you expect? We've been serving shit all season. How you want them to turn up on a Atletico Madrid away and say, "Yep, we're going to put the performance of our lives."
I mean, put it this way. With Archie Gray. The reason why I feel like he is playing for the badge, even though he's been asked to be played in different positions. Remember, last season he was playing right mid, centre back, left back, whatever. He comes from a footballing family, right? They understand the tradition of playing football. They played for Leeds, right? He gets it. He gets the message. He understands that. When it comes to players like Van de Ven, Romero, etc., their only loyalty is to their career. They think of it as a very short career. They want to get the best from their career. They want to be top stars in their career. So, of course, Van der Ven's going to down tools because he's a paid professional. But for him, it's like, if I'm usually the best player, because in Van der Ven's head, by the way, he's scored goals. He's had plaudits throughout this season until it flipped upside down. So for him, he's thinking, this is not my battle to fix. Yeah. This is not my battle to fight. This is not my fight to, really go all hands on deck for, because I did my part. It's down to the board and the management to consider that, to work that out themselves. That's why he's checked out. He thinks this is not worth it for me. I've got the World Cup to focus on. I don't need to worry about this. This is the attitude problems that we got right now. This is why we've lacked leadership for such a long time at this club. We're so spineless. We're so directionless. It should start from the team and then work its way up to the manager, and then from the manager to the board, and then to the hierarchy above that. That's the structure. We don't have a structure. There is no clear direction. It is so simple to work this one out when you can see other clubs have a football director. I mean, let's look at Arsenal. I know we hate talking about the Gooners, but let's be real about them. When they kicked out Edu Gaspar, got in, the guy who actually was at Atletico Madrid, as now as their football director, he turned it around. He told the board and told Josh Kroenke, I want to sign these players. Are you going to back me with it? No problem. Yes, we can. Gave him all the cash, got those players through, and look at Arsenal. They're flying through the windows now. They're flying.
Yeah, and look at Aston Villa with Johan Lang not there.
Not there anymore. But it takes us. It is us that takes the scraps from other teams where it hasn't worked out for them. But for some reason, we think it will work with us. And I have no idea why, right? I have no idea how they actually suggested their credentials to the board. And the board thought, you know what? Don't really care about their past performances. I think we'll be happy with them. What makes the board think that these are adequate appointments? That's what I really want to ask. That's what I really want to know. I want to know their thought process behind it. But we just don't know because they're not communicating with us why they make certain decisions. And that's why there's such a massive disconnect between us as fans and them as the board. They're so separated. It's like they don't understand what reality is like.
Well, it's even more separated now because obviously we saw the thing about the sponsors and no communication with that.
Yeah.
There's a lack of incompetency.
There's a lack of communication all the way through. But
that's been for years, though.
Yeah, but even more recently.
Yeah.
Even more recently, there's supposed to be a supporters club five-a-side tournament next week or the week after, and there's been no communication about it, and people having to book flights and do all these things, and that people are pulling out because there's no communication. They're not saying what's going on.
Ridiculous, man.
It's just ridiculous. It's from top to bottom. And look, it's just come out now. Sammy Mukbale said that Spurs have a big decision to make on Tudor. They'll be asking themselves after his latest aberration, are the players responding to the manager's method? The answer is clear. 4 games, 4 losses, 14 goals conceded. Results aside, sources have indicated to BBC in recent days that members of the squad are still to be convinced that Tudor has the tools to guide this struggling team away from the sorry predicament in which they find themselves. So the hierarchy we've got to see what they got to do. But look, internal concerns over his position has already started to generate. The result will only serve to sharpen the focus on his job security in the coming days. There was a sense that a positive performance tonight could be used as a building block for Tudor ahead of the game at Liverpool. And you wonder if the manner of this loss and the subplots that unravelled has altered the direction of the travel for him. Tudor was appointed because of his track record in sparking immediate improvements at other clubs. The Croatian's arrival has heralded the opposite effect. That, as also some of this has described as a disconnect between players and the manager, leaving under increased scrutiny. Decision to sack Tudor so soon after his appointment would provide a clear admission of error from the Tottenham hierarchy. The club's ownership, you'd imagine, will be demanding answers. But keeping him may prove an even bigger mistake.
This is it. The fact that they have to now admit errors, they have to admit faults.
Yep.
When they got the last appointment wrong, and they got many appointments before that even wrong.
Yep.
Incompetent levels.
When would they be held accountable for it? And we keep saying, this is what I have to ask, right? We've got to be honest with ourselves. If you're looking to renew your season ticket, I said this last time on here, if you're really looking to renew your season ticket, please think very carefully about it. Think very carefully about where your almost £2,000 is going towards, because these guys are never going to be held accountable for anything, right?
Daniel,
they never have
Daniel, what has to happen at this club
final
for the
thing,
fans? What can possibly, how much more can the fans take before they take action? Because it's a question I've been asking for years. What will it take? Because does it have to get to a relegation? Do we have to go to the Championship? Perhaps stay there for 5 years? Because there's no guarantee that whilst we hit the owners in the pocket by coming down into the Championship, so, well, that's the only way you can get a result out of that. It doesn't mean you're going to come straight back up. You have to have new team, new ideas, new manager. It could take 3-4 years in that Championship. Before to get to Europe again, it might take 10 years.
Yep.
So people that say things, well, the relegation is the only way forward. I'll say I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure on that one.
Well, firstly, relegation is probably the worst idea we could think of. Let's draw a line under that immediately. It's not going to change anything, by the way, because if we get relegated, we are worthless. So why would they sell something that they put a lot of money in? It just doesn't make sense. Let's think for a second, right? Yeah. Secondly, as a fan, as a long-time supporter, like I said, your power is in your pockets. So think very carefully about whether you're going to games. So many people go to games because of community, they've got friends, family, tradition. I get it. But if it's been putting you through the mud for so many years and months, don't bother, because it's not the club you recognise anymore. It's not like where we used to go when we saw White Hart Lane previously, or when we first opened up the stadium, the new one, right? It's changed. The atmosphere has changed. It's become commercialised. So think very carefully before you start spending your money on this club again. And finally, put it this way, right? It will impact the owners, because the board don't realise it, but Tottenham Hotspur Football Club Limited is a football club, first and foremost, right? So where it will hurt them the most is their revenue that they get on match days. If many people decide not to go on match days anymore and just give their tickets out to people who are obviously the casual fans, people just turn up, they'll begin to work out, we are actually pretty effed, because genuine fans are not coming anymore to these games, to turn out as a crowd.
That's what they want, though, Daniel. That's what they want. They just want people there in the bars, spending money in the shop, and all of this. And it doesn't matter if it's Liverpool at home or Lincoln City at home. That stadium will still be full, and there'll be money ringing through the tills. They're getting rid of the real fans. I gave up my season ticket this season. I know a lot of others are going to do the same for next season. And then what does it get you? It gets you fans that just want to go there like they're going to the theatre or anything
Don't
else.
don't go in. But the biggest part of it all was Son was the main marketing idea for a lot of people to come. A lot of foreign fans who actually haven't actually seen Tottenham before, so they come through. They've either started supporting the club or they decided to, get off it. That's no through fault of their own. It's through the fault of the fact that we've marketed Son so much to the point that he's become synonymous with the club, and now he's no longer part of that. It's now decided to make fans a little bit more hesitant about going to these games, right? So if they want to make Spurs into a commodity, a commercial success, they've already done that. The problem now is the performances. And then when sponsors now begin to pull out, that's when it'll really begin to affect their pockets. That's when they'll start to lose credibility when it comes to selling the club later on for as much as they want it to be. So be a great fan. You've done a great job already by giving up your season ticket. I commend you. And I feel like many people should follow that through. Put your money where your mouth is, and we can hopefully change this club around at some point. Come on, you Spurs.
Big up, Daniel.
Big up, Daniel.
Thanks for coming on, mate.
Thanks for coming on. So before we go to the next caller, I have the words from our esteemed manager. Tottenham manager Igor Tudor speaking to TNT asked if starting Kinsky was a mistake. No. After you see what happened, it's the wrong decision, but it was the right decision before. A change of competition, it was the right moment. Unfortunately, what happened. I never changed the goalkeeper after 20 minutes. On if he has spoken to Kinsky, we don't need to comment. It's not the moment to speak too much. It was a strange game, very strange game. We gave them 3 goals. We even started good, then the problem kills us in these 3 situations. Very, very strange, very unusual. It took our confidence. We had an opportunity to make it 4-2, then we conceded a goal for 5-1. We apologise to the fans and to everyone. It's a difficult moment. Everything looks like going wrong. Small mistakes we pay. Everything unbelievable. Even this situation at the end, 2 players colliding, it felt like everything was going against us. On why things aren't working. I need to keep working, not speaking too much. Stay focused on the things we can do. It's unbelievably difficult to explain all these things. The first time in my career that I saw these things, 15 years. I'm focused on the problems. The players also. We need to stay positive. And he was asked if he thinks the board will stick with him. It's not about me. We need to stay calm. Less talking. Better less talking. Now is not the moment to try and give a big explanation.
Yeah. Yeah, listen, for me, he's done. He said in the last game he knew he was in a boat, he was out of the boat. And unfortunately, the ones that he left on the boat failed him tonight, man. What do you want us to call it?
He's just spoken again about
he's saying there's talking, but he's leaving a lot of...
Now he's talking about it. It happens very rarely. I've been coaching 15 years. I never do this. It was necessary to do this. Preserve the guy and the team. Incredible situation. Before the game, it was the right choice in the moment we're in. Pressure on Vicario. Tony is a good keeper. It was the right decision. After this, it's easy to say it's not the right decision. I spoke to Tony afterwards. I said he's the right guy, a good goalkeeper, but unfortunately this happens in this big game, big mistakes. After that start to the game, it was too much for us in this moment when we were fragile and weak.
Fragile and weak is right.
Fragile and weak is right. That's the only bit of talking he's done. So the boat is not the boat. The boat is the Titanic.
Boat's looking quite empty.
It is. Right. Who's the next person to come on and give their views? Spurs are my life. I hope you've got more than just Spurs, my friend.
How's it going,
You
lads?
should change that R to F.
Yeah, good. You?
Just a light-hearted
Subpar at
joke.
best, I would say.
Just a light-hearted joke, mate.
Yeah. At the end of the day, boys, just another shambolic display. From minute 3 to minute 90, we were just absolutely toyed with. And, I don't want to say that it was all doom and gloom today, because I do think you can take a few positives from that. But I think it's more of a glass half full than a glass half empty. For me, it's half full right now, but I could see some people being optimistic about that game.
Tell me why you think it's the glass half full. Tell me these positives that you're...
Yeah, so I think, honestly, wholeheartedly, that without those 2 errors with Kinsky, I think that would have been a tie game today. And I think the tie away at Atletico Madrid would have been a fantastic result. And maybe I'm deluded, partially in denial, I'll admit that. But I think
Yeah.
there's only so much negativity you can put out. I could come out in here and say, "Oh, the players are shit," which they are. But is it really going to help if I say that? Is it going to really help if I go on here and say, "Oh, the coach is shit. It was a terrible appointment"? Is he? Absolutely. But is it really going to help? Is it going to do anything? No, it's not. So I think it's better to try to find positives in that game. Real quick, I thought Solanke was good tonight. I thought he was when he got service. I mean, we just need guys who can put the ball in the back of the net. You pick up a mistake and you put it in the net. That's what a striker's supposed to do. If we can work on getting him more service, and I think he needs consistent starts. I think another player who played well tonight before the second goal went in, I think Archie Gray is just slowly developing into a beautiful player. He's tidy on the ball, does well in midfield. I mean, we're struggling for anything right now, so we can take anything we can get. But I thought he was another good player today. But yeah, I think there's just two perspectives you can look at it from today. Is you can either be super negative and say, look, we're going down, which could happen, very well could happen. I'm not in denial about it. It's definitely there. Or you could be, all right, maybe we can try something else. You know what I mean? We're not going to beat Liverpool on Sunday, so that doesn't really matter to me. But what we can focus on are the games that we can win. Sure, we have not been playing well at all, but we can take the positives that we've seen from a few games, even though there haven't been many, but we can try our best to highlight those and build towards a better future.
Okay, more on Tudor. Just he's coming
Please,
out.
let me know. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets the sack in a few minutes.
More. So for a guy that said there's not a lot of talking, he's doing a lot of freaking talking.
Oh no, what now?
Obviously, there's stuff from Dan, so there's stuff from Gray. So he's come out and he said on his future, this is not a topic for me. It's not about my job, but how to help the team. I'm always thinking about that. I recognise what we are, which problems we have. Every game something happens, sometimes very difficult to explain. I also see the wish of the players to do the right things. We started good, 2 or 3 minutes. I feel we are in the game. Well, all right, mate, 3 minutes in a 9-minute game.
3 minutes.
But when these things happen in the moment we're in, this happens. The pitch was the same for both teams. When asked if he thinks he deserves to keep his job, he replied, no comment.
Oh, no.
My take on what you've just said is on the basis like, for example, the Liverpool game, we're not going to win that, so it doesn't matter. We move on to the others. I think every game moving forward matters. For me, it's not about. Listen, of course, we want to win. Every team wants to win on match day. I think though, before you look at the win and lose situation, you have to look at the team. Are they fighting? Are they playing? Are they playing in unison? Are they playing for the manager? Is the manager setting them right? Is the manager prepared the match well enough to give the best possible chance for that team to get a result on the day? When I mean a result, if you can't win, try and get a point. Try and get something. We haven't won in so long. So to dismiss the Liverpool game because we're just simply not going to get a result there because it's Anfield and we've got a shit record there. And it's granted, it's true. We have got a terrible record at Anfield. But this is like Atletico Madrid, what you said about tonight. They weren't irresistible. This Liverpool team this year, they're a good side, but they're not irresistible. But the problem is like you said, it's the mental attitude that we're going into the games. We're not fighting for the cause. We're not fighting like a team that realizes in the position that in the precarious position that they're in, and just how close they are to that bottom part of relegation. We're still not quite there. I don't know if we're there as a fan base. I don't know if we're there as players' mind. The manager is saying what he's saying. He keeps saying different things after every match. He changes teams every game. Formation, changes lineups. He's giving more instability for me for the actions that he's taking every match and every team selection. He's causing more and more instability in a situation that's already precarious. What he should be doing is stripping it back, making it a little bit more basic and giving the team the tools to go out there to do the best. He needs to tap in the players. And what I'm seeing after every game, including tonight's, is players that kind of walk under the tunnel, they walk straight to they're not in unison, not in sync, they haven't gelled. in the 4 games after Frank left to now, I've not seen it. I continue. It was happening while Frank, by the way. This was happening during Thomas Frankie's era as well.
Oh yeah, it definitely was.
I haven't seen any change from the managers have changed, but the situation hasn't. Until we get a team that's fighting every inch, every blade of grass on the pitch, we will not get ourselves out of this situation. It doesn't matter who you get. No. Remember what Conte said? You can change a lot of managers, but the situation won't change. So we have to remember that, and we are still in that shit situation. And everything that he said post Southampton match, it's still true to this day. And that post match was like 2-3 years ago. How long ago was that post match conference? It's still applicable today. Like if you listen to it tonight, what he says, it still applies today. So I don't know, guys. I honestly don't know. We have to fight every game, and that has to start on Sunday, on the weekend. Because if we lose, the going there to lose, it's just going to breed losing all the time.
Yeah, you're 1,000,000% right. My only problem with that is the way I said it is how I think the players are going to see it. I think the players are going to see it as an opportunity. All right, lads, let's not get hurt. Let's not get embarrassed. Realistically, we're not going to win this one. Just go out there and kind of half-ass it. And maybe this is controversial, but I think there's some players that need to be sold in the summer that do not play for the club and do not play for the team. And I think one of them is our best player in Mickey van de Ven. I think Mickey needs to be sold as soon as the window opens. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I just feel that he's completely checked out. There is absolutely no desire in his play anymore. A player that used to be really hype up the fans, used his speed to go around players to win the ball. It should have been sent off tonight. Is trying to go through players, obvious frustration, going at the fans. You can't instill a culture like that. It doesn't matter how good of a player he is. Sure, does he have the quality to go out there and play for Real Madrid or Barcelona or all these teams he thinks he's good enough to go to? Maybe, maybe not. We can't beat West Ham. We can't beat teams in the bottom 3. And if a player is that good, they should be influencing the game enough to beat those bottom 6 teams. We can't beat Leeds. We can't beat, there's a bunch. We can't beat Palace. We got steamrolled by Palace. That result should have been way worse than 3. We got annihilated that game. And that game really should have been a wake-up call for us. But again, it's not. There's players who just have completely checked out. I don't know if anybody watched Colomwani today. I don't know what he does. And again, I've said it a few times. I've met Colomwani and I've met Igor Tudor in person. Both fine enough guys. But their mentality on the field, in the training ground, and as tacticians, is completely off. They just, I don't know if it's a culture thing. I don't know if it's where they're from playing in France and Croatia. I feel like we should have hired and brought in players from the Prem. It doesn't make sense bringing in a French international and a Croatian interim. Bring in players who have played in the Premier League. Same thing goes with Xavi Simons. Anybody who's going to tell me that Xavi Simons is better than Eze is absolutely deluded. He's not. He's nowhere near it, i.e. every North London derby that we played this season. So I think that's where the root of the problem stems from. It's these players being unfamiliar of their surroundings, and they don't understand what the Premier League means to English fans. They don't understand. Sure, in France and Croatia, as my 2 examples, you got Dinamo Zagreb and Lyon, those 2 really aggressive fan bases that understand what winning means, and the ultras and the flares and all that stuff. I understand that. But when in England, it's different. And I just think we should have brought in players that understand English football, understand the Premier League. I would have rather brought in Sean Dyche over Igor Tudor. And I'll tell you why. The guy knows how to stay up. I would have rather bid Sam. Both those guys. I know it's not Red Dot. I know I'm throwing out these names that sound like a joke to people, but honestly, they've got a better track record than Tudor. Tudor hasn't played. Tudor's played in Italy. Tudor has played in Turkey, in France. Why do you think he's been to so many teams? Because he doesn't have what it takes to play at a big club.
No,
he doesn't have it.
And the trouble is the other thing is Xavi Simons was signed because James Maddison got injured, and Moani was a panic buy or panic loan because Solanke got injured. There's no plan.
And whose responsibility is that for signing those players?
Well, Johan Lang, I think, or the board.
He's the antithesis of progression, of forward progression. He is absolutely diabolical. Him and Vinay, man.
Incompetent
Dumb and dumber,
levels.
those two.
Incompetent levels at all levels at a club.
My
Incompetent
word.
levels. A management appointment. We've got manager. Thomas Frank came in. This guy's now come in, and for them to sack this manager now means they have to be accountable. They have to be accountable for the shit show they've shown all year, and them to sack Igor Tudor means another defeat. On top of they've already they lost the bet against Thomas Frank. The potential they are losing this one clearly as well. So can you trust them with the next appointment, even if they do sack Tudor? No. I don't know, guys.
That's a fantastic question. It really is. I don't know is the answer, but I feel like anything. Did anybody see the clips on Twitter of Pochettino on the flight to the game today? Yeah. I think it's inevitable that he will be the coach in the summer because they have to. If they don't, I read a report. I don't know if it was bullshit or not, but basically saying that even if we get relegated, it's still open talks to come back, and that shows how much somebody loves the club. And I think when you get a manager who loves the club and understands what it is and what the fans want, i.e. Harry Redknapp, I don't care how old he is what we need next. Yeah. You need a man motivator.
I don't think it matters, though. I don't think it matters who the manager is with these players.
Someone needs to blow smoke up their ass. If I've got to fly over there and take on the coaching job for the next 2 weeks and tell them that, oh, you're the best players I've ever seen, go out there and make something happen, so be it. We need a coach. I don't care who it is. Because realistically, Tudor, trying to play a 3-5-2 and all this shit he's trying to play. Realistically, no, there's 9 games left in the year. No one's going to buy into these tactics, okay? It's literally you're here to keep us up. And you do that by keeping it simple, i.e. what you guys said. And I completely agree with you on that.
Nice one, mate. Thanks for coming on. We've got a lot of calls.
Of course, guys. Cheers.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah,
take care.
Spurs. Oh, go on.
Oh.
I think he is, because I think we're gonna get it's Stellios time. Come on, do. It's a Stellios.
Stop it, please.
Look at him. Look at his face.
Stop this talk.
Look at his face.
Oh my God.
Look, I can't wait. Here we go. Off you go, Stell. Here we go.
Stell, the floor is yours, man. I don't know what more to say. Go ahead, man. Is he frozen?
He's frozen again, is he?
He's frozen with that smile on his
I didn't even know. His Wi-Fi is even worse there than it is than it used to be over here.
It frozen him smiling.
I know.
It makes him look like he's happy about tonight's defeat or something.
Here we go. He's back.
Oh, he's back. Volume.
Can't hear you.
Volume, yeah, there's no sound. All right, cool. No worries.
What's he saying?
I think he's going to call in. I don't know. I think
call off his phone. He's going to call off his phone.
Oh, is it?
But look, let's see. Look, while we're waiting for Stell, so
more Tudor chat.
More Tudor chat. For someone who don't want to speak, he's speaking a hell of a lot. Speaking on the clash of heads, an example of the moment. It's incredible. Already, Mickey is out of Liverpool with a red card because he's dumb. It looks like everything is against us. We'll either play on Sunday. I don't know. We will see. Well, the concussion is a minimum of 7 days. So they ain't playing, either of them are playing against Liverpool. And if it's a minimum of 7 days, they probably aren't even playing in the second leg. So at least that's one positive we can take, because Romero can't get a yellow card. And if he gets another yellow card before game week 32, he'll get another ban. After game week 32, everything wipes. So I guess that positive is from there. What else has been said? Archie Gray was talking about putting his arm around Kinsky, saying he was fine. And then Kevin Danso said that we were unlucky in free slips. So, there we go. But here we go.
We got Stell back.
So here we go. Let's see what he's got to say.
Stell, the floor is yours, man.
Why is there like this big build up and kind of expectation just because I come on? Like, what am I? Some kind of
No, not at all. Man.
The circus clown is here, everyone.
No.
There's half the fans are waiting for it. Half the fans are
There's a
going at you.
circus show at Spurs right now.
Yeah.
They're doing all the juggling and all the circus and the clowns and all that. They're provided more than enough.
We needed some popcorn, man. That's
Yeah,
what
they're
we needed
provided
now.
more than enough for a shit show. Yeah, man. Like, listen.
Go on.
Start with the big calls that he made in the starting 11 tonight, including the goalie, the two centre midfielders up front. I mean, what was your thoughts when you saw that team lineup, including the goalkeeper? By the way, a lot of people wanted Vicario out of this team. Let's remind them of that. They wanted him out and they wanted Kinsky in. They wanted him to give it a shot. Mate, that's a big call. He made it, started him.
But first of all, right. Relegation time. Come
You
on.
started him off. What is this, a circus show? Stop.
Oh my God.
Anyway, your thoughts, man. Go on.
Everybody's having a good time. Listen,
Is he being out on the piss or something?
Yeah.
listen
Is he
to
on the
me.
racket?
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Hear me out.
Go on.
Half of the people watching now are frauds. Half of them are frauds because they say things like,
That word.
be positive. Just back your team, right? I'm being positive. You know, have a little sing song, you know, have a little dance. I'm being positive, everyone, you know. I actually made £120 tonight. I on YouTube last night on the panel, we went round to predict the scores and everyone was like 2-2, a narrow 2-1 loss. I think we might get a draw. And I sat there listening, right? I sat there listening and I said to myself, what's wrong with everyone? We're absolutely shit. This is the worst team I've seen in terms of coached, in terms of morale, in terms of team selection, in terms of strategy and tactics. This is the worst I've ever seen, right? And I'm listening to people say, but we can get something at Atletico. I'm thinking, we are the dumbest fan base on earth. And I said, do you know what's going to happen, guys? We're going to lose 5-2, right? Okay, the fact I predicted the right score is here or there. But in my head, I'm thinking, we're going to get battered, but I know Atletico aren't brilliant defensively this season, so we can get some goals. And what happened? Everything you've seen all season long happened. We get completely ripped to pieces, right? We get battered, torn apart. And once the game's over, at 4-0, it's over. It's finished. The pressure's off. You've got nothing to lose. Spurs wake up. And we get 2 goals. Of course we score when the game's over, because that's what we've done all season long. Once the game's over, Spurs start playing. Mate, it was so predictable tonight. And we've got fans that think suddenly we're going to get a result. Based on what? We're shit defensively. We're shit in midfield. Our passing is awful. Our possession is terrible. Our chance creation is terrible. Up front, we're shit. In goal, we're shit. The manager's shit. The coaching's shit. The recruitment shit. The owners, the scouting. The academy doesn't even exist at Tottenham. I don't know why we've got an academy. How are we going to go to Atletico and get a result? What planet do our fans live on? What planet do they live on? I am beyond understanding how dumb our fan base has become. And you know what? There's going to be clowns that are going to say this now. Oh, but Liverpool lost to Galatasaray. We can get something at Anfield. Oh, really? Okay.
To me, it was like really weird because the game didn't even come into to play. Like, we didn't even see the two teams go at each other because before we even got to that point, it was already over. 3 mistakes I've never ever seen at this level or at any level for a long time in one match, where you get 3 individual errors, 2 of them by the goalkeeper, 1 of them by Van der Ven. It seemed to me that they were wearing wrong boots tonight because everyone was slipping all over the place.
Shut up, Iggy. Shut up. Just back your team for fuck's sakes. Get behind your team, Iggy. What are you talking about, mate? Get behind your team, Iggy.
No, I'm serious. I'm like, how do you evaluate a match when you're 3-0 down before we've even got going? You got a
Iggy,
goalkeeper
listen,
that's getting subbed 15 minutes into
Listen,
the game. I'm like,
Iggy.
mate, the game was over before we even got going.
What did Lubo say the score was going to be, by the way?
Oh, we had a massive tear up tonight. I don't think he's talking to me. I've had enough of him. He's absolutely... The guy is the most optimistic blind lunatic I've ever met. He's a lovely man. I love him to bits. He's an absolute heart of gold. He wants Enoch out. But when he starts talking about predictions and matches, he's off his rocker, man. He's on the sauce. He's properly on the sauce, that guy. Look, big up Lubo, by the way. I love him to bits. Just think his views on the games are very odd. The starting lineup was a joke. I was on Sava's show before I came on here, and I was saying on his show, Sava, I have got no idea what Tudor's just done here. Either you go all out for the win and play your best players in the right position, or mug it off. Rest all the best players for Liverpool because the league's more important. What does he do? He plays our best back five. You could say he tried to play what he thought was the best front three. And then he completely decimates the midfield. Who's the best number 6 we've got? Paulinho, benched. Who's got the most Champions League experience out of that midfield after Paulinho? Conor Gallagher, benched. Who's the only creative number 10 we've got? Xavi Simons, benched. Mate, Pape Sarr and Archie Gray as the 2 midfielders against Atletico in Atletico.
I couldn't believe it either.
Listen, Iggy, either you go for the win or write it off. He did this half-baked approach, and I sat there and I thought, so now what we're going to do is we're going to invite all the pressure onto our defence because the midfield doesn't exist. And how are we going to get the ball to the forwards? Either we're going to blam it long, great, Stoke City football, or we're going to need the wing-backs to try and push up, and they've not really done it this season. I couldn't understand what Tudor did. And what killed me was once the game got out of control, what does he do? Right, Gallagher, you come on. Oh, Paulinho, you come on. Oh, Simmons, you come on. Mate, if you're bringing them on to save the game, that means you should have started them. Otherwise, why are you bringing them on to save the game? In the Champions League final, when we lost to Liverpool, we had one of the worst midfields ever. It was Moussa Sissoko and Harry Winks. Those 2 were better than Sarr and Gray starting in midfield today. Those 2 clowns were better than what we did today, in my opinion. If you're going to start Gray, you've got to put Paulinho there, and you've got to put another, either Simmons or Gallagher, to partner Gray with Sarr. And that's your midfield in the Champions League knockout stage. Who does that? Who does that at this level of football? I didn't get it. He put the best defence on the pitch. He put what he thought was the best attack, and he decimated the midfield. It was insane, man. It was half-baked. Barry, Iggy, it doesn't make sense. Either all in or all out. No, 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Okay, well, it's going to go wrong, innit? It's going to go wrong.
For me, the scariest thing that I've seen, amongst all the things you've just said, I agree with him, by the way, is the fact that in such an instability, or really like a team that's completely unstable, that's deprived of any kind of confidence, he's come in and he's added to the million problems that we've had. He's added more to that. He hasn't stripped it down, make it a basic 4-4-2. I don't know. It just try to galvanise the place a little bit, instill a bit of confidence. And you think, Arsenal, he came that week. You think, well, the Arsenal game maybe was too soon, but he's had Fulham, Crystal Palace, and tonight, and I am not seeing anything leading up to even the Liverpool game that makes me think, where are these points going to come from?
Liverpool. We're getting battered.
But
we're getting absolutely
you know how you say that Atletico Madrid,
whooped.
it's not the greatest Atletico Madrid that we've ever seen, and it wasn't. It's not
doesn't
the greatest.
matter.
But Liverpool are not the greatest Liverpool team we've seen either there. But
Iggy,
Where the
West
points
Ham.
going to come from? Because it
West
seems
Ham.
to be every team that we play. I know we lost the West. I knew we were in trouble with that home defeat against
West Ham haven't won in 10. They play Spurs, they get a victory. Wolves haven't won a game all season. They come to Spurs.
So
if
what
it
you
wasn't
saying,
for a
we can't
94th
play
minute
ourselves?
Paulinho, every team we play, forget their form, forget how they're playing. It's us, right? Dr. Tottenham is on crack cocaine this year. Dr. Tottenham is giving medicine. Everyone's getting medicine. Even the people that are cured and they're okay, we're giving them medicine as well. Everyone's getting medicine from the doctor this year. So I don't look at Liverpool and say to myself, do you know what? They're not that good. I've seen teams go at them. You know what's happening at Anfield, right? No Van der Ven. Let's see if Romero and Paulinho don't have compassion.
No chance.
Right? Let's have a look. And you know it's going to fall apart. The goalkeeper is shot to pieces now. Kinsky, his career is ruined. We've wrecked the guy. We've ruined him tonight. That is a devastating thing. Listen, Iggy, I coached both of your boys, right?
Yeah.
I know a thing or two about young football players. What we've done tonight to Kinsky is going to hurt that player for a very long time. He ain't going to recover from that overnight. That's a killer. That's a killer what we've done to him tonight. I wasn't against Kinsky starting, by the way. I didn't mind Vicario being changed because I've been calling for it. In hindsight, and I need to own it as well, you know, because I was one of these people that said start him. I didn't realise he hadn't played any football games this year.
Mate, it's incredible.
He hasn't played any football games this year. So
None.
I think what we should have done is, because clearly dropping Kinsky tonight wasn't a decision he made tonight. It must have been on his head. He must have been thinking, can I keep playing Vicario? Tudor must have been thinking that to just suddenly do it in the Champions League. What he should have done is let Kinsky play against Fulham, let him play against Palace.
That's exactly what I said. That's exactly
Yeah,
what
and I agree
said.
with you, Iggy. 100% agree with
It's
you.
insane.
I didn't realise that Kinsky hasn't played any football this year. So for me,
What a call.
I'm not against dropping Vicario. I'm not against that at all. I think Vicario needs to be dropped. But was this the game to do it? Listen, clearly not. Clearly it wasn't. Clearly it wasn't. Especially in a game where you're not going to have a midfield, so you know there's going to be pressure piling on, and that's.
And he hooked him off after 15 minutes. He hooked him off.
See what he should have done is
Wait till
called him
half-time.
over. No, he should have called him over and just 30-minute power chat. Called over Romero, called over Vicario and said, fucking protect him. Protect him. Because let's not forget, only 2 of the goals were Kinsky's fault. One of the goals was Van der Ven's fault. He slipped.
Yeah.
Then there was another one where Vicario made the save, and there's no one there for the second ball. There's no follow up.
Nick.
So
Everything I said.
No. Listen, Vicario made the save, right? He made the save.
But there was 4 defenders against 1 forward, and he got the header.
Yeah. And then the 5th goal. I mean, the guy's just run 80 meters unchallenged. You know, it was like what do you call it? Who's that? Mo Farah. Like Mo Farah just
Mate, how quick is Alvarez?
waving at the crowd. He's
Poro.
waving. Mate, he's running. He's waving at the crowd.
But also, like you said, Spence overtook Porro. Like Porro just like gave up. So I'm not getting there.
Listen, right. So 3 goals that we conceded tonight were not Kinsky's fault. They had nothing to do with him. So if people want to go in on Kinsky, do it, man. I don't care. But I said this 2 weeks ago. We all went after Basuma because he was taking balloons at the start of the season. Right, we're bored of attacking Basuma. Who should we go after next? Let's go after Richarlison. Bloody Pigeon. Right, he gets injured. Right, who should we go after next? Okay, Romero. We've got to blame Romero. Bloody Romero. We get bored of Romero. Right, Van der Ven. Let's go after Van der Ven. And I said, who are we going to go after now when Van der Ven's suspended? Which player are we? Who's the next victim that we're going to go after? It's Kinsky now. He's the next one. And once we get bored of Kinsky, we'll find another one. We'll probably go back onto Romero. But every player, Porro, we went after Porro as well. Remember, player by player, we're just targeting our anger at the players. I don't blame the players, guys. I don't blame the players, and I'm going to say this, and you know, people are going to get rattled. Sacking Ange was the single biggest fuck up we made. Not because he won the Europa Cup, not because he wasn't tactically,
Who's talking?
not because he was tactically inept, not because he was accepting mediocre transfers. When we've waited 20 years for a trophy and we finally win it, and the camp is happy, the group is together. Do you know how hard it is to get a group like that? Forever in their lives, they will bump into each other. Like Brennan Johnson, when he's 50 years old, he'll be on the stage doing a football talk, and on the stage will come Van der Ven. When they see each other, they're going to have a big hug. We won that trophy together. That bond is with them for life. We had that. In the summer, we had that bond. And they were with Ange. Whether we think Ange is good or not isn't my point. They were with Ange. And what we did was we pulled a pin out of a grenade and we threw it in there and we blew it up. If you're going to blow up that...
It's the Spurs way.
If you're going to blow up that happy camp, you have to bring in someone that takes it to a different level. So if you're going to blow it up, Jurgen Klopp better walk through that door. Jurgen Klopp better walk in. Hi, guys. I'm here to take you to the next level. Everyone's going to buy into that. Everyone's going to buy into that. You don't bring in Thomas fucking Frank. It was a killer on the psychology. And then everything spiraled out of control. The usual problems, shit transfers, the academy completely mugged off. We'd rather spend money on Odebert and Tell instead of giving Mikey Moore and other youngsters a chance instead. And then the injuries kicked in. Frank should have gone after the Forest game. He didn't. We kept him. He should have gone after the West Ham game. We kept him. So it was too late. It was too late. We left it late. And who did we bring in? We brought in a guy who, after the last loss, said, the boat is going in the right direction. I'm happy with the direction of the boat. Tonight, he's saying the complete opposite. Tonight, he's saying the complete opposite. Talk to me about the boat, Tudor. Talk to me about the direction of the boat, bro. It's ridiculous. We as a club are in complete... We're in a decline like no other. We are decimated, guys. We're completely fucked. Psychologically, mentally, coaching-wise, tactically, we are wrecked. And this is why some of us, for 6 years, have been saying, ENIC out, Levy out, you got to protest, you got to boycott. But most of the fans don't give a shit. They don't care. They're not going to. They're not going to. Our fans aren't going to do anything. I've seen it all now. They're not going to do anything, which is why... Guys, the only way to save this is relegation. Stelligation is the only way we will change anything, because it's the only way ENIC are going to feel financial pain, and that's the only thing that they will respond to.
We're going to be down there for years. If you really think relegation is the answer,
as long as it takes, Iggy,
we're going to be down there for years. You know,
good.
We don't. There's no guarantees that we go down and we come back up. We could be down there for 3 or 4 years by the time we change the ownership, the manager, the players, blah blah blah.
Iggy,
you won't see Europe for at least another 10 to 10 years.
Are you enjoying Europe tonight?
No,
did you enjoy Europe tonight?
I'm just saying that the damage,
well, this is what you're gonna get.
Financial damage, but image damage is so much. Like
Iggy, hold on a minute. Your image isn't going to be damaged.
No, I'm talking about
your finances aren't going to be damaged.
I'm talking about the club, not my image, of course.
They own the club. They own the club, not us. They own the club.
We're the ones that support it, though, man.
We've been supporting this for 6 years. Look at it. It's getting worse and worse and worse. And by the way, we don't support this club. We support ENIC. If we supported this club, we'd be on the high street protesting. We'd be boycotting the games. We'd be causing chaos in the terraces after the games. If we supported this club, we'd be fighting for the soul of it. We surrendered this club. We support ENIC. Our fans support ENIC, not Tottenham. Let's have it right. They don't like hearing it. The fans don't like hearing this message, but it's the truth. And the truth has come to slap them in the face. And they don't know what to do because they can't admit, shit, I should have protested. I should be boycotting. They can't admit it. So instead, they carry on business as usual. Okay, fine. But it doesn't matter if I'm saying Stelligation. You're going to get relegated anyway. We're going to get relegated anyway like this. Forget what I'm saying. It's going to happen. It's an absolute disaster what this ownership have done to us. Like tonight, what happened to Kinsky? Van der Ven should have got a red card, by the way. We got away with that.
Yeah, I said
the midfield was non-existent with Tudor's tactics. Every game, different tactics, different. There's zero stability. There's no consistency with this guy at all. Getting battered every week. His first game was against Arsenal. We conceded 1 goal in the first half. His second game was against Fulham. We conceded 2 goals in the first half. His third game was against Crystal Palace. We conceded 3 goals in the first half. His fourth game, we conceded 4 goals in the first half. What do you think's happening at Anfield? What do you think is happening at Anfield, people? Watch, I'm telling you, it's going to happen.
5.
Barry, it's done.
5, and then that non-existent goal difference that everyone's holding on to. Oh, our goal difference is better. Will be gone.
West Ham are better than us. Forest are better than us. Leeds are better than us. You watch them play. You look at the energy, the belief that they have to stay up. They want to stay up. We don't want to stay up. We don't want to stay up. We are surrendering the league.
They're feeding off our displays and results. We're giving them the lifeline to say, yeah, let's go for it.
And then I get fans say to me, oh, for fuck's sakes, just back your team. These are the same people that walked out with 45 minutes to go against Crystal Palace. The people telling me to back the team are the same people walking out the stadium. Tonight on Sky Sports at half-time, at 4-0 down after like 25 minutes, Sky Sports were reporting after 25 minutes, Spurs fans are heading for the exit. But I thought you were supposed to support your team. I thought you were the 12th man in Madrid tonight. Why are you walking out with 70 minutes to go? So I don't listen to what this ridiculous fan base of ours has become. It's a deluded, in denial, failure-accepting, Enoch-loving fan base. And they deserve this. The ones who don't deserve it are you two and the people that come on this show and all the other shows and me who protest, who try and stand up and fight back against the owners. We don't deserve it. We don't deserve it because we've tried to fight for the soul of the club. But we're the minority, guys. We are the minority. We need to accept it. We are a tiny voice in the grand scheme of things. And that's the truth. That's where we're at. And this is why we're getting relegated, because the fans have surrendered. They've surrendered the soul to Enoch, who don't give a shit about football. They don't care about football.
That's the verdict. We deserve it. We deserve to get relegated.
We deserve it.
Up next at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
Well, you gave up your season ticket, so...
I've given mine up as well, by the way. I'm done. I've given it up.
There you go.
I was going to keep it and then hand it to my brother's son, my nephew, when he gets older, so he's got a season ticket. I'm like, nah, I'm not paying another penny, man. That's it for me. That's it for me. No more, never again. I tell you what, if we do stay up, the only chance we have, and I don't even know if it'll work now because I think it's gone on too long, the only chance we have is, I think whatever manager comes in, the Liverpool game is a loss.
Yeah,
we've won like 3 league games at Anfield in 100 years, and much better teams have gone to Anfield and not won. Much better teams have gone there and not won. This is the worst team in current form ever, I think, in the Premier League that we've had. So if we have any chance of staying up, we need to have a new manager for the Nottingham Forest game, because that for me is the official decider. That Forest game, like fans were saying, oh, Crystal Palace, it's the big game, we must win. And at the back of my head, I was always saying, I don't know, because I don't think Palace are rivals for ours to go down. It's between us, West Ham, Forest and Leeds. We've got to beat Forest. That's the game we have to win, that one. So if Tudor's the manager for Forest, someone's going to get sent off, someone's going to run into a goalpost and knock themselves out, and there'll be claret everywhere, they'll be stretchered off, or someone's going to break a toenail, or someone's got a sore throat and they can't play. You know what's going to happen if Tudor's in charge. We need fresh blood to come in for that Forest game. Who it is, by the way, I don't know. I don't even know if Redknapp can save this now. I don't know if Sherwood... I actually have no idea who can come in and save this right now, because it is so bad. You know what? I don't think there's a coaching course in Europe that coaches this scenario. I don't believe this has ever been coached to anyone who's done their badges. What do you do when there's 7 games to go and your club has completely shat its pants? No one wants to be there. the fans are all arguing with each other, and you are the worst performing team over the last 3 months, and you are the worst team in Europe since 2026. What do you do? I don't think there's a coaching course that has ever taught that to anyone, if I'm honest with you, which is why I don't know who you bring in, man. I don't know. Who do you bring in? Maybe Donald Trump, because he can blow all the opposition up. Bring in Trump, he'll just nuke everyone and we'll survive.
Let's not go there, man.
I make a joke, people. I make a joke. Come on. A bit of football pub banter. Doesn't hurt.
So cool.
Yeah.
Nice one, man. We got anyone else?
Couple more we need to get through. So.
All right, guys, listen, big up to both of you two, man. And I wish
we got to do it all again next week.
Are you in the studio again next week?
Yeah, next Wednesday.
Yeah, we're doing a return leg as well.
Yeah.
What, Atletico?
Yeah. Can't wait.
Iggy tried to convince me. Do you want to do it? I'm only doing it if you're doing it. I wish I said no now, man.
Do you know what? I mean this in the best of ways. It's because, I like you both. I mean this, but you mugs.
Thank you very much. See you later, Stell.
See you later. Oh, dear, right.
On top of that, mugs as well.
Mugs as well, yeah. Right, let's get on the next caller.
Are you all right, mate?
Hello?
Oh, mine's camera.
Here we go.
Is that Chris? Big up, Chris. What's going on, mate? You all right?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, man.
I can hear you perfectly.
Hello. We're embarrassing, boys. We're embarrassing.
Chris, can tell us your thoughts, my man.
We've had this issue going on for years now, really, where we started the season well, because this season we did start well, Frank. Beat Man City away, beat Burnley at home. We drew away at Brighton, I think it was. We played poor at home to Bournemouth, though. And then we've obviously, since then, we always seem to capitulate towards December, January, February, and then March. There's some sort of hope for some reason, and then the season ends in a shambles, as always. Last season, the Europa League win, in my opinion, yes, it was amazing tonight. It was amazing, but it did paper over a lot of cracks that we're now starting to see. This season, of course, with Frank, Vinay, Lang, it makes no sense. Our club's making no sense at the minute, in my opinion, and it's sad to see, really, because the fan base is so divided. I've never seen it this bad in my life at Tottenham, in my life.
Yeah, it's probably since the 70s.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
The 70s. Yeah.
But yeah, give us your thoughts on the game tonight.
Oh, shambolic. There was no fight, there was nothing. It took us, well, there was fight, actually, I'll tell you a lie. It took us 4-0 to go 4-0 down to actually start playing a bit of football, get up the pitch, get a goal back. But that goal inevitably means nothing, because do I see us scoring 3 goals at home? Do I see us being Atletico Madrid by 3 goals? No, I don't. I don't see us doing nothing without going behind a goal. Crystal Palace, for once, we actually took the lead. Again, we capitulated, 3-1 loss, red card. Van der Ven today should have been sent off.
Yeah.
We're seeing the same errors week in, week out from the back line. Van der Ven, Romero, whether it's Van der Ven or Romero playing, they're meant to be our leaders, the voices of the squad. They let us down all the time. And I'm actually starting to get sick of it. I called out Romero a long time ago on my TikTok. I think it's a game against Liverpool. He can't, I know it's harsh to say and people might disagree with me, but he can't be captain of our club.
Well, he won't be, because he'll be gone in the summer.
Did you guys get that?
Yeah.
No. Well, good. I feel like we need a whole reset.
Yeah, we do. You're right. We do need a whole reset. I mean, it just... What about Kinsky, man? What about Kinsky?
Oh, I feel for him, man. I feel for him, because I've been calling myself... I've been calling for Carr out for ages. I feel like his distribution has been great. Kicks the ball out, played too much. He seems a bit flat-footed. He just doesn't know what to do with the ball at the feet. I thought Kinsky could come in. His distribution, well, from what I saw in his games that he started in, his distribution was all right. But today, he just had a horror show. But I did, it's a weak excuse, but I do believe it was the pitch on that side of the field, because Oblak done something similar. He gave the ball away to us and we scored. So it's very harsh that we did take him off as well. That's just destroyed the boys' confidence. And just for that alone, Tudor should just go. And honestly, I don't get why there were so many fans happy about Tudor's appointment when they saw, oh yeah, you can play three at the back, 3-4-2-1, whatever it is he was playing, and they thought he was going to get like a tune out of this squad. Thomas Frank tried playing that foul at the back with this squad. It didn't work. And we're just watching the same thing over and over again. I come on the platforms and I say the same thing over and over again. Oh yeah, today wasn't good enough. Mistakes after mistake after mistake. No fight until the second half and the game's done.
It's copy and paste every.
It literally is, and I'm actually an idiot. So I literally, I remember it last night. I bought tickets to go Nottingham Forest because I feel like that's the biggest game of our season.
Big game that's going to be a big game. But look, for me, the biggest problem with Tudor for me, obviously the results. Of course, the results. He's lost every single game since he's been in charge, but is adding to the instability of the team already. He's adding to the regression. You know, the confidence is not. It hasn't been able to touch any player in any which way to try and galvanise them a little bit. And like I said, with a consistently change of personnel, tactics. It's just added to the mess that we're already in. And like I said, he's not the only problem, because that would be a really easy problem to resolve. But he's like, you have got when you have a million problems, he's just adding another one to it. Because he's trying to implement
99 problems.
Yeah, you got 99 problems, he's just adding one more to it. So he's trying to implement his style in a scenario that's really should be just stripping it back. I've been saying this all night. Stripping it back, make it really simple, give simple but precise instructions to the players, and try and galvanise. It's an impossible. It's a really tough task what he's got to do, but at least try to. But I'm seeing a team that's in more in disarray, in more confusion, and we are heading south fast. And I don't know how we get out of it. I really don't. Because I'm not seeing any sign. I'm not seeing anything. I'm not, like you rightly said. The team's not fighting.
No, they're not. They're not, and it's sad because it was once upon a time where these players fought for Ange Postecoglou, and in that first season, obviously we come fifth. The same exact players, bar Xavi Simons, who lost to Solanke and Odebear, I'm pretty sure, and some other signings. Bar them three and a few more, it's the core of the squad is still the same. You have your Udogi, Van der Ven, Romero, Porro, Vicario, Sarr, Madison, Bissouma. Then you have the front three of we had Son at the time. Who else do we have? Richarlison and Brennan Johnson.
Yeah.
And that team came fifth. We were playing blinding football, obviously from the first 10 games, and then we all know what happened at Chelsea game, which derailed our season a bit, but still, we came fifth. On another season, that would have been Champions League football, but it wasn't. We got Europa League. Then last season, like Ange rightfully said in the overlap, I know he got back to Ange, it's not a really good thing to do, but he was right. In the overlap, he said, we got fifth, he wants to push on now to compete for some more titles, I guess, or actually make a strong bid for the title and for other trophies. He asked for Semenyo, Gehi, and there's someone else, horrible, he said. And then we brought him in. Solanke, cool. That's all right. Solanke, proven striker, English. You have, and then you brought him in a youngster in Gray, Bergval, and Odebear. Like, what was the point in bringing in them three youngsters? Yeah, I love Archie Gray. He's the only player out there right now that's actually fighting for us to this day. But how is he going to improve us and take us on that next step that we need to take to improve on what he built in that first season? I know he won the Europa League in the end last season, and we were successful, but we came 17th, and we will put that to the side because we were never. Let's be real, we were never getting relegated last season. We were too far above the relegation zone, really, points wise. So it was rightful that he been the league off because we're going to come 10th. No European football, nothing, pointless. Win the Europa League, get the Champions League in. Hopefully, bring in better quality players for the next season that comes in. And we bring in this season a Xavi Simons, which we failed to get a Bereze. We brought in. Who else we bring in this season? I can't even. Colomwani. Is that what
Conor
Champions League was
Gallagher.
Colomwani? And Gallagher, yeah, January.
Yeah.
That and we saw Johnson, our top goal scorer. Yeah, I wasn't the biggest fan of Johnson. Yes, I thought his football then wasn't great, but at the end of the day, we lost an asset, a guy that can score goals for us, a guaranteed goal a game, pretty much. But he was our top goal scorer last season. He was the goal that won us the Europa League, and we sold him. Cool, I agreed with it to an extent if we were going to replace him correctly, but we didn't. We sold Johnson, brought in Conor Gallagher, and a young Brazilian left back. That we don't. He's a wing back, yeah, in the system, and we don't trust him enough to play him there. I don't understand. We buy these youngsters, yeah, but we do not play him. We don't play him. Palace too, we saw Sousa, but he subbed him off after what 18 minutes because Van Ven got sent off. But why are you subbing off a defender?
We have levels of incompetence throughout the club, and this is not just this year or last year. This has been going on for absolutely years, and nobody has held them accountable. Not the fans. This like I said, this has been for years. We've accepted the mediocre level of taking care of football things. The finances and all of that, the business side of it, one could defend it all they like, and they may even be right. But in terms of football, we've been served with dross and have been for years. And on top of it, we've accepted it without so much as so much of any protest whatsoever. Nothing. So here we are. This has been 2020, since 2001. We're in 2026, 25 years. Yeah.
It's sad. I'm just sad because I remember I went to my first game. Obviously, I'm a young fan, innit? I went to my first game in 2014 or maybe 2015. Sorry, Heung-min Son's debut when he scored against Palace at home, 1-0 win. First game I went to, and obviously I fell in love with the club. Like I loved everything about it, and I could never imagine myself to this day saying that, oh, Spurs need to win this game, to get out of the relegation battle. And I'm thinking to myself, what has my club come to? But if you look at it as like a neutral, I guess, we deserve it. Not us fans, but the club actually deserves relegation.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the first ever season that we've been without both Kane and Son.
Yes.
When Kane left, Son was in, one's injured, the other one's been a player. But this is the first time we've not had either of them in a squad. It just goes to show how many cracks they covered really with their brilliance.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. And when we had Conte in as well, we had that back five was absolutely shambolic. You had Ebersarau right wing back. You had a Matt Doxey playing left wing back at points.
Don't start on my boy. Don't start on my boy.
Yeah, Sanchez, Dyer, and Davis sometimes the back three. Romero will come in when he's not injured. Conte worked miracles at Spurs.
Yeah.
Son and Kane carried that team. Son and Kane carried even the team before that, I would say. But now we're there, like you said, they both come out of the team, and the financial, the recruitment's been awful. We wasted 65 million on Senga and Ndombele. Yeah, brilliant player, technician. Where's he now? Left free. Didn't have the work rate, didn't have the work ethic to even fight for the club at Spurs or even play. You have 60 million Richarlison. Yeah, Richarlison's a good player. He's an okay player. He done well for Everton. At the time, they were a relegation candidate, really. They were on course to get relegated for 2 years, and he saved them, I guess. But we shouldn't be signing players like that. No offense to Richarlison. I love him as a person. But as a player, he's not what Spurs needed at the time. 65 million Dominic Solanke, our club record signing to date. And I think to myself, right, it's proven, but other than that, he's not much. He's not like no Harry Kane. What sort of replacement was that? And then we wasted 50 million on, well, Brendan Johnson's not really a waste anymore because he was the Monster Trophy, but still 50 million on Brendan Johnson, where if you go back then and you look in the market properly, you could buy, the money we spent, you could buy a lot of better quality than what we have bought, and which is why we're seeing the decline of our club to this day, because the poor financial decisions, even from 10 years ago, or maybe longer than that now, 12 years ago, where we were going to sign Sadio Mane, but we didn't go ahead of it. Dybala, image rights. We're always going for we're going to go for the big players, but then we always end up pulling out of it and then going for the
attempts. I call them half-hearted attempts.
And
we almost got them. We almost did
tried
this.
FC.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And now all these decisions ultimately, if you go back and look at them, has led to this day where we could actually be getting sent down by our rivals Chelsea. Well, I say rivals, but are they even rivals anymore? Just part of the same city, really.
Yeah, that's true.
No, that's it. Look, Chris, it's a terrible time. We've got nothing really to look forward to. I keep refreshing. He's still not been sacked.
It'll be tomorrow morning.
Look, I don't know.
It's not happening.
I don't think it's going to happen. But look, thanks.
Thank you guys.
For your call, my friend.
Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having
I
me
feel
on, man.
sorry for you having to go to Nottingham Forest.
That's nice.
I hope you get. I hope it goes well for all of us, and we'll get a result. That's a big 6 pointer. That one.
That is a huge
massive
game. But anyway, so you guys have a good night.
Thanks for coming on, Chris, mate. Take care.
Anyway. Right, that's it, guys and girls, and everyone in the chat. Another disastrous, I will say, performance from Tottenham. Look, thank you to everyone that's joined us. Thank you for all your comments. Maybe not some of the nasty ones, but
no, we accept them as well.
we accept them as well.
No problem. I understand. Everyone's upset.
Everyone's upset. We've
Everyone's
got to try and go
upset.
at something.
Sorry.
But look, Ben and Sim are on their way. I don't know if they're on their way back from Madrid tonight or tomorrow.
They're going to be drowning their sorrows,
They're going to be drowning their sorrows. So they'll be back on as soon as possible to go through the player ratings and all that jazz. And I want to say, looking forward to Liverpool. Ben will be here on Sunday. I don't know if he'll be here with Sim. They probably don't want to go all the way to Liverpool to watch what we're going to serve up. But yeah, like Stell said, 1 goal conceded in the first half in the first game, gone 2, 3, 4. It don't look good for Liverpool on Sunday, sorry. And my wife also supports Liverpool, so she'll also well. Joe as well.
Yeah,
so
lucky me as well.
We'll get it from all angles.
Yeah.
But look, thank you very much for watching. As I said, they'll be here. We'll be here, unfortunately, next Wednesday to see the return leg. Can Spurs surprise us? Will Tudor be sacked?
Oof.
Will someone get sent off? Will Romero and Paulinho be fit? Whatever happens, we'll continue being Spursy, I think, to the end.
Yeah, man. I'm going to do a shameless plug.
Yeah.
I'll be doing my stream on Sunday night, 7 o'clock on Spurs Corner. If you want to join us, we'll be talking Spurs. Hopefully he's gone by then, because honestly, this manager cannot stay here any longer. He's out of his depth. Maybe the job is too much, but we can't carry on with Tudor.
No.
We can't. We have no chance.
Everyone, just forget about Spurs for a few days. Enjoy the rest of your weeks. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.